Hello everyone, this is Kalyan, having 5 plus experience in big data. Today I'll be going to show some interesting topic in Spark is XML processing. How to process the XML files using the Spark, I'm going to explain. So have a look at that one. I have a sample XML is there. Let me show you. This sample XML having some kind of tags, some open tag, some end tag, and in between I have some other tags. So the main tag is a trade data tag, and the subtags are the stock tags. The stocks having a corresponding IDs are there, and information related to stock information also I have it. So what is my intention is like I have to process this data using XML. If it is a local file system, you can write a Scala code to process this one, but that's not a good approach in real time. The reason is like the data we can't store it in the local file system, we cannot process because in real time the entire data in the HDFS, and once the data is stored in HDFS using the Spark, if we want to process the HDFS with Spark inbuilt APIs, we have to use it. That is what the main interesting topic in this demo now. So you got the idea about what is XML first and what kind of data I'm going to processing also. So let's open my Eclipse to start doing the coding. So to do this thing in your system, Scala has to be installed, Java has to be installed, and as well as Hadoop, Spark. The other four things are the prerequisites. If you need to install, you have to install it, and after installing all these things, Eclipse need to be there, and inside your Eclipse also Scala IDE has to be installed. If you want to know all these things, you can check my previous videos, how to install the Eclipse, how to install the Scala IDE, how to install the Java, Hadoop, Spark, Scala, all these things. If you have a basic idea about all these things, then you can go for start coding this one also. So let me open my Eclipse. It will take a bit time. It may be some memory issues, no problem. Okay, so in one of my previous video I have a Spark project, how to create a Spark project, how to work with this. One of the basic example most of the people knows like a word count example, so I have explained here. You just want to check that one also, you can check my previous video. Now in this project only I'm going to continue this example XML processing. So let's create one of the files. Object is XML processing. Now in this XML processing we have to fill the code. So I have a sample code is there, I'm just going to show you. So this is my sample code. Let's take this imports, and inside the code also, let's take it. So another thing is here for this project Hadoop is required, and previously I have given only the Scala and Spark only, but you want to work with this Hadoop means you have to add some dependencies. Here you have to add the Hadoop dependency for the streaming. Rather just Google it. You can say Hadoop streaming, because we need to use Hadoop streaming here. Hadoop streaming. I mean, there is a repositories will be there. Go with that repositories. The current version of the Hadoop I am using is 1.1.2. I can choose that version. And this is the what I have to add here. Depends on your version, you can go for it. Okay, let's save it. Let's start building it. It will take a bit while because it has to download the relative information. Okay, almost building is completing. It's done. Let's check here also. The code doesn't have any bugs also. Okay, fine. So I'll explain this code, what exactly going on. So I'll be taking the first argument is the path to my files, second argument is the output, and I'll be setting my Spark conf object, like in the word controller what I explained also, while Spark conf is equal to new Spark, and defining the application name and which mode you want to run it also. Okay, then most of the people already knows, like when you're running a mapless program, if output is already exist, it's not going to run. Okay, you want to ensure that you want to override that one is the Spark miss. This is another property you have to, this is not a mandatory, but the purpose of this one is like a delete the old data. If exist, you just validate the output and it will take care of that. So, and coming to the XML related, some extra concept here is like we need to define the Hadoop job conf, and we need to provide the streamer class. What is the streamer class? Like a stream XML record writer here, and also the starting open tag, end tag also we have to mention. If you see this XML file, starting tag is the trade data and end tag is the slash trade data. Same information we are giving, like a way to start and way to end here. And also for this job I'm passing them a path of the file, so this will be dynamic here. So this is the base code belongs to the HDFS. Map reduce job information, passing the input file to job. Passing the input file to job, and here we are creating Spark context with Spark conf. because you want to play with the Spark means you need to have Spark context that require the Spark configurations also. We are passing all these things. And now to read the sorry, to read the XML data. To read the XML data, so we need to use the Spark context, and the inbuilt API provided by the Spark is Hadoop RDD. That is a Hadoop resilient dataset, distributed dataset. Using this one, we can able to read the XML file. So already we specified the input path to job con. That information we have to pass here, and which input format you are going is we will specify a stream input format to read the XML file. And what is the key and value both will be right now format text only. So we are define this entire information here, then we can able to read the XML data. And this the below code is like how exactly Spark internally using the Scala code to read the data. So once we have this RDD, so get the XML information, and in that I have only one XML tag is there, get that one, and load that XML into a string format is in the XML API provided by the Scala. And once we go with that Scala API, now things will be going into the thread XML. Then from here, the first one I have to read always like what stock by stock. So let's parse by the stock. Then the entire the stock data is going to be available. Just try to map it all these things. Always try to get the ID and stock name, stock price, everything is just whatever you wanted. All these things get it, and convert into a one row with the tab separator, comma separator, whatever you want to play here. You just place and put it into tuple. And this will take care of like entirely putting into the my data object as a list of values, and that I'll be passing to create one more RDD2, that is X for storage. Okay, so I can say this will be the output actually, output data. So whatever the my data I got it here, now I'm just storing into the output data. So creating the Spark context, so this will ensure like what the entire data is coming into an RDD. So using this RDD, I can save my data into my output path what I have specified in the arg1. So now you can run this program in locally and as well as Hadoop also. First let's run with the locally. For that, my XML file I'll copy to my input folder. Okay, I'll export the output in the output folder. Let me clean up my entire data here. Okay, no output here. So you can see there is a XML file here and output is empty. Let's pass this information. Right click, run as configuration, or first you can do Java application if you just want to feel like it's working or not. Got a message like a what? Index of index shift 0. So let's go with run as configuration with XML processing arguments. First one is home, Hadoop, work, input. Here my input file name is tree.xml, and take the same thing data output in output folder, apply and run. So the exception here is shadow of priority, so maybe let's stop the Spark also. Spark context dot stop. Let's run it again. Let's check some issues which is related to no such element here. Okay, let's prepare the project one more time. Maybe some reflections are not happened, miss. Some dependencies are downloading. Let it take time. So now let's refresh. Okay, let's try again. If not, we'll see another way. I have a Spark concept. My Spark conf is there, specifying it and using every information and stopping this one also. I don't think so. Let me prepare a jar and try it. If it's not working there also, we'll see. Export jar, path of the jar. So you can import a path of the jar here, say next and finish it. Okay, let's prepare the command for this one is near XML processing. Processing package is same. Local jar demo. Now let's keep the name is XML copy. But before that I have to put into HDFS. For that fs -put /home /adobe /work on my input. This pass it to demo into this. The request is Hadoop verify. Let's start the Hadoop. Okay, verify in browser. And just has to place here. Once this is turned off, we can do it. Wait for some more seconds. Okay, now you can do it. Let me check. Okay, sorry, this D is small. Okay, let's see in the HDFS. The file is there, and make this D. Let's submit it through Spark. It is not going to work because some dependencies are required. I'll show. If it is provided in the class path, means mostly works. If not, we have to provide in the runtime. Let's see. No class def, so we have to pass runtime this one. For that, after processing, I can even say jars. Then I have to pass the path of the jar for streaming. So work Hadoop contrib streaming. This is the path. And you have to provide this path. Then after that, jar file name. Okay, now let's try it. It's going to work. So now it started reading it. It's processing using MapReduce. So it should run properly also here. Let me check in the output file and input file. Input file and output file wise verify it. Infi, this is the one, and Infosys Limited, this is the one, ID one. So all these things are what we expected here. It's got also, this is what, like, we read the data from HDFS, we write the data into HDFS. If it is text file, like previously what are the word count problem I have said, that's going to work. But if you are processing with the semi-structure and structured data, means the custom input format, it's going to lead the things. This is the place the Hadoop knowledge you are going to be expecting. So the Spark is just having a power, but if you are storing the data into HDFS, means the MapReduce knowledge is also always need for you. Suppose you want to process the image files using the Spark, means still Spark still has to work with the Hadoop. So Hadoop level you need to customize the input format, output format. As a class level what we discussed, those will be going to help you also. So like this you can, some local issue, there is an issue with the local system, I have it right now. So if I run this one, some dependency issues I have it actually, should not be, but some dependency issue is there. I have to take care of this one. It's not a bigger thing, but you can try with the command what I have discussed this one. This will be going to help you. Okay, and if you have any more information related to the XML processing when Hadoop or maybe some other thing information in the Spark or Hadoop also, you can always touch with me in IIT Hyderabad. So hope you got the idea. Thank you.